Hey guys, it's Robert here from the MLB Today with Corey, and we got breaking news here. As you might have already heard, Albert Pujols and C.J. Wilson signing contracts with the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Two key players that will be a great add to the Angels for the 2012 season to compete with those Rangers. Now, first off, before we get into any details, I want to ask you, Corey, and I'm going to answer the same question for myself. Who do you think that was signed today is going to have the biggest impact on the Angels in 2012?
Well, I'd like to say Albert, but, Jared Weaver now being the ace for this team, having a great second pitcher in the rotation, that's going to really take a little bit of pressure off of him coming near the postseason time, near the end of the season, if they have to make a run for the wild card. But, Albert does have a big impact because he's Albert, he's going to make a big impact. And, if I had to choose one, I'd say C.J. Wilson, just because it's helping other players.
Yeah, with his add to the starting rotation, they're going to be a hard pitching staff to beat. But I got to go with Albert, because you're right, he is Albert. And he's going to be, especially if he's going to be playing DH, like when you were talking to me earlier, you said that it's probably time to stop playing first base because of the risk of getting hurt. But with playing DH, he's going to have the opportunity to score more runs, hit more home runs, drill in more RBI, pretty much just score more runs. And Albert is very capable of doing that, and you saw that in the World Series. And if he can play that way for most of the season next year, the Angels are going to be a hard team to beat, man. But you still got to give credit to C.J. Wilson because he's going to be a great addition to the pitching staff.
Sort of what you were going on with Albert playing DH. Another thing he can do is he can focus more on hitting, Back when he was playing first base, he had to focus on first base, and I feel that he can hit 40 home runs, maybe even 50 home runs this year if he can just focus on his hitting and driving in runs,
Yeah, now he doesn't have to worry about getting hurt defensively. He gets to hit and then get a little break in between, which is good for him. And I think by doing that, he'll hit a lot more home runs, drilling a lot more runs. Pretty much getting into that. Now, getting into the details, first starting off with the big man, Albert Pujols. It is said that this deal is 10 years and is worth between $250 and $260 million. Now, if you think of that, that is $250 million. So, man, the Angels have some really big pockets if they got this guy. And I saw this coming out of nowhere. Pujols is a 9-time All-Star and 3-time National League Most Valuable Player. And, I mean, this is just a great addition, like I said before, to the Angels. Let's see. Last year, he had .299 with 37 homers and 99 RBIs. And that was considered a down year for him, according to MLB.com. But, man, previously he had 10 straight seasons, according to MLB.com, where he hit 300 or higher with at least 30 home runs and 100 RBIs, and that's unbelievable, especially for an MLB player these days. Corey, do you have anything to add on the details?
Well, like you said, the Angels going out and spending $250 million. That's a lot of money because going out and spending that much, you can't really work on signing a lot of other key players that can help you. They could use another outfielder and a couple more infielders, but it's a good signing if you're the Angels. And like I said a couple days ago, I felt that whoever signed Albert, it was going to be a surprise. It was going to be a team that no one really expected to go out and actually spend big bucks on him. And it was the Angels, of course. I had no intentions on the Angels signing Albert. I thought it would be the Marlins or the Yankees or the Cards, but the Angels went out and signed him.
Yeah, I saw the Angels from the start getting C.J. Wilson by Albert Pujols. I mean, that just came out of nowhere. And with these two signings, the Angels were the fifth highest in payroll last year. But with these two signings alone, and it's only the beginning of December, they already raised their payroll $327.5 million. And last year they finished with 86 wins. That should turn into about 100 this year, especially with these two players. But you gotta hope that Pujols doesn't get hurt and that everybody stays healthy, and that's what will be key to them. But going on to C.J. Wilson, he's 31 years old, this year was his second season as a starter. He went 16-7 with a 2.94 ERA in 223 and 1/3 innings, which is 34 starts. He struggled in the playoffs though, going 1-5 with a 4.82 ERA in 10 games, 9 starts. But he bounced back in 2 of the World Series games. Although the Angels missed the playoffs in the last 2 seasons, the Rangers made it to the World Series in back-to-back years. So he's got some playoff experience, which will be good, especially if the Angels make the playoffs this year. He ranks second in the AL in ERA, and just like I said before, great addition to the starting rotation. I think that he will be capable of getting, again, probably 20 wins this year if he stays healthy. What do you have to say about Wilson, Corey?
Well, like they say a lot, the stats don't show the story. You know, a guy going 1-5 in the playoffs, you wouldn't really sign him for $77.5 million in 5 years. But he's actually a great pitcher. You know, he's a left-handed pitcher that's going to help out the Angels' rotation since they don't have a lot of lefties in that. Throw him in right behind Jared Weaver. This is going to be a tough staff to face, especially when it comes down to the end of the season. The Rangers are going to have they still have an okay rotation, but losing C.J. Wilson hurts. They still have Derek Holland, a left-handed pitcher, but the Angels really do have an advantage now in this AL West.
Yeah, exactly. And going back to the whole postseason thing, it's just like Cliff Lee. I mean, he was pretty. Throughout the course of the postseason in 2010, I gotta admit, he was pretty good. But in the World Series, you all know what happened. But you saw what happened to him after that. He got signed by the Phillies, and he had a big year this year. And, at least the good thing is that C.J. Wilson has some playoff experience. So for those young guys on the Angels that haven't had playoff experience, he knows how to help them out, get some of that pressure off of them, and just go out there and play.
If I could add, not only C.J. Wilson has playoff experience, but Albert just won the World Series last year, so he has a lot of playoff experience also.
Exactly. So these two guys can go to those younger guys on the Angels, get that pressure off of them, and just tell them how it is to win a World Series. But I kind of feel bad for C.J. Wilson because he can't do that. But that's pretty much it. I mean, the Angels are already stacked for this 2012 season, out of nowhere coming out with these 2 signings. Man, it's going to be one heck of a year for the Halos. Anything to add, Corey?
Well, those predictions I had a couple months back are definitely changed since these signings by the Marlins and the Angels. So
You bet.
that's about it.
Yeah, I bet everybody's predictions of next year in the AL West have already changed. Beginning today, they have already changed. At least I know mine have. So it's going to be a tight year between the Angels and the Rangers to top the AL West division. Alright, for Corey, I'm Robert, and we'll see you next time here on the MLB Today.